Hi guys, on this installment of PJ Cook Sexy Food, we're going to be making that Facebook sensation Mississippi pot roast, only we're going to be doing it in the Instant Pot instead of a slow cooker, and we're going to make a few little revisions, so let's get started. So keeping with the tradition of a Mississippi pot roast recipe, we're going to need 1 packet of au jus gravy, we're going to need 1 packet of ranch seasoning, we're going to need 1 stick of butter, we're going to need half a jar of pepperoncinis and its juice. We're going to need 3 to 4 pounds of chuck roast. I have 2 smaller pieces, so this way it could fit nice and easily in the Instant Pot. So this is where our recipe for a Mississippi pot roast deviates from the original. What we're going to use is we're going to use half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, 1 tablespoon of canola oil, half a cup of beef broth, some peeled baby carrots, and some baby potatoes. First thing we want to do is we want to heat up our Instant Pot. We want to get the inside hot because we're going to sear the outside of our meat. So to do so with my version of Instant Pot, I'm going to hit the saute. So while our Instant Pot is heating up, the first thing what we want to do now is we want to take some paper towel and we want to really dry off our meat well. Because if the meat is not dry on the outside, it's not going to brown properly once we get that going. So we're going to dry off both pieces really well. Make sure you get any of the liquid that's on the bottom of the plate, if there is any. Now that we dried our meat, we want to sprinkle on our salt and pepper. I'm going to season both sides with salt and pepper. Flip it over. There's the pepper and the pepper. And let's salt it. Okay. Now we can set this aside while we're waiting for our Instant Pot to get into good and hot. It's been heating up for a few minutes. Now let's go ahead, add our tablespoon of oil. Give it a little slosh around, make sure the bottom of that pot is good and coated. And you can see how the oil is shimmering just slightly on the bottom. Now what we're going to do is we're going to brown our 2 pieces of chuck roast. So we're going to do them one at a time, not to crowd the pan, so that they brown up nicely. So it's been about 3 minutes on the first side. Now we're going to go in and flip it over. And you can see that beautiful golden brown crust that we've got on this pot roast. So we're going to go ahead, brown this one up, brown up the next one, and we'll get to the next step. So as you can see, I went ahead and I browned both of our pieces of meat. Now we're going to set these off to the side, keeping our focus on the Instant Pot, which is nice and hot, and you can see all the brown bits that have occurred on the bottom. We are going to pour in our beef broth, and we're going to scrape the bottom of the pan to get all those brown bits off. So now that I went ahead and scraped up all the brown bits, I'm going to pour in the packet of au jus. I'm going to pour half of the pepperoncini juice and give that a stir. Once that's well mixed, I'm going to put half of the dressing packet and give that a stir. Once those have been incorporated well, now we will return our pieces of meat to the pan. This time we're going to smush them both in so they both fit well. Make sure they're flat in the bottom. Over the top, we're going to pour the rest of that pepperoncini juice. I'm going to sprinkle that ranch dressing packet over the top of the meat. Toss in those pepperoncinis. And last but not least, we're going to put in that stick of butter. And if there was any juices in the plate that you reserved the meat on, pour that into the pot as well. That's nothing but pure flavor. Now we'll put on the lid. Make sure that we're set to steam. We're going to set this to a high pressure for 60 minutes. So once the hour is up, we're going to let this go on a slow release before we open the lid. So our pot roast has been in for an hour now. We're going to take off the lid. You can see how good that looks. once the steam dies down. See how good that looks. And then we go to pierce. I mean, you can see it still has a bit of bite to it. It's still a little tough. That's fine because we're not done cooking yet. Now what we want to do is we want to toss in our carrots and our potatoes. We want to stir those around just a little bit, get them into the liquid, especially those carrots. That beautiful juice that we have in there. Excellent. Gonna clamp on the lid. Make sure we're still on the high pressure. I'm gonna set this for another 30 minutes. Okay, so our vegetable's been in there for 30 minutes. I let it do a natural release for 30 minutes. Let's open up and see what we got. Oh, look at how good that looks. The meat is just falling apart. Our potatoes are fully cooked. Our carrots are nice and tender. This is going to be delicious. I'm going to plate this up in just a moment. So now we plate. Got a nice big platter. Going to lay down a nice big bed of egg noodles on the bottom. Who doesn't love egg noodles? Right in the middle, we'll put our pot roast. You can see how fall apart tender these pieces are. Grab our potatoes, put those around the pot roast. Space them out evenly, make it look pretty. Doesn't that look good? Grab our carrots. Work those right around. Oh yeah. Maybe top it with some of those Now top it with those pepperoncinis that it cooked with. Oh, mama, that looks good. Grab a ladle full of the cooking juice, spoon that all over the top. Now, who wouldn't want a meal like this? It's a meal fit for a king. So we went ahead, we made the Mississippi pot roast in the Instant Pot instead of the slow cooker. Made a few revisions, so we had some additional veggies. Quick, easy, done in the Instant Pot, a couple hours. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you try it at home. It's definitely a go-to. Once you make this pot roast, you will not make any other pot roast recipe that you have in your repertoire. Thank you for tuning in to PJ Sexy Food. See you next time.